Mr. Potter.
Welcome to the wizarding world of Chelsea Football Club, where you can be fired at any moment, slandered mercilessly on the internet, and where you run the risk of succumbing to capricious locker room stars. But at the same time, you will have a chance to win trophies, build a dynasty, and delight incredible fans at Stamford Bridge and around the world. Who is Graham Potter? Why was he invited to Chelsea? And why will it be incredibly interesting to follow the work of the specialist? We'll tell you all about it right now. Graham Potter's destiny is amazing for an English manager. In 2005, he ended a rather nondescript playing career with 300 matches played. Of those, only 8 were in the Premier League for Southampton. After that, Potter decided to get an education and first became a Bachelor of Sociology, and then got a master's degree in Leadership and Emotional Intelligence. What's so amazing about this, you ask? Well, after that, he suddenly went to Sweden to train a club from the country's 4th division. Leaving their country for Brits is basically a tough choice. Indeed, why go somewhere if football in your country is perhaps the best developed in the whole world? But he didn't just go to Northern Europe to an unknown club. He also took his wife, who had a business at home that she had been building for 10 years, and a newborn child. The club of the Swedish League 4th Division, where the specialist went, is called Östersund. And that's where Potter began to work his magic. In his first 2 seasons there, the club was promoted from the 4th Division to the 2nd. And after 3 seasons, in 2015, it made it to the Allsvenskan for the first time in history. But that's not all. In 2017, Graham won the Swedish Cup and thus made it to the Europa League. In this tournament, Östersund made it to the group stage, having passed Galatasaray. Potter's men also advanced from the group and in the playoffs lost to Arsenal. However, the Swedes beat Arsene Wenger's side at the Emirates 2-1. This is how, in 8 years, Potter, together with Östersund, went from a no-name team with 500 people attending their matches to defeating Arsenal at the Emirates. The story seems unreal, as if someone was playing FIFA career mode. In Sweden, Potter is remembered for the fact that he selected controversial and sometimes scandalous but gifted players and squeezed the max out of them. He also invited players to the team whose style didn't suit typical Swedish teams. He built a tactically flexible team that relied on the ball handling. And to make the players feel as free as possible, the coach didn't hesitate to use non-standard methods. For example, he created an academy of culture on the basis of the club, where football players, coaches and staff had theatrical and musical performances together with the public. Once they even staged the Swan Lake Ballet. Potter believes that as a coach, he should help players grow not only in football, but in life in general. As soon as you stay comfortable, you move down. There were times when the guys didn't want to do it, but you have to try to deal with it, Potter said in an interview with The Guardian. We are our own worst enemies, and as a coach, you can help people realize this, increase their self-awareness, and then see if they change. In 2018, Potter accepted Swansea's offer from the Championship and returned to his homeland. We'll try to return to the Premier League, but return in a way that we have an identity and an understanding of who we want to be on the pitch. For me, the interest is in this, is the ability to build something. These were Graham's first words at the helm of the Swans. The coach used 10 different formations in Swansea, regularly changing them during matches. Sometimes the team showed top-notch football, having championship-level players in its squad. Potter failed to complete the task in his first season. Swansea finished 10th, but the bosses liked the coach's work so much that they didn't even think of parting with him. Nonetheless, the manager couldn't refuse Brighton's offer. The opportunity to realize his ambitions in the Premier League seemed too tempting. In his first season, Graham scored a record 41 points for Brighton and finished 15th. The following year, the result was about the same, 41 points and 16th place. However, Potter's team was called the unluckiest team in the league that season. They had a spectacular game but couldn't convert a bunch of chances. After his victory over the Seagulls, Pep Guardiola also spoke about Potter's team's bad luck. "I told my players before the match that now we're in front of the best English coach. In the last 20 minutes of the match, we fell behind not because we played badly, but because Brighton were really good." Later, he added, "I love watching Brighton play. Graham Potter showed all other coaches, all football, that you don't have to be the favorite to be brave, to play football well. I greatly admire him." Potter's style is another quality that Chelsea chose him for. Graham's teams are focused on combinational football and fast turnover. Since the start of last season, only Liverpool with 11.4 and Manchester City with 9.9 have averaged more high turnovers per game than Graham Potter's Brighton with 9.8 in the Premier League. Last season, the Seagulls finished in the top 5 in all pressing metrics, were 4th in possessions, 8th in pass accuracy, 6th in attempts, and also in shots allowed. Simply put, the team is as bold as possible stylistically. At the same time, the result is also of high quality. 9th place for Brighton is fire. With his recognizable style, Potter uses a bunch of different formations. The main creator, Leandro Trossard, who starts as a left lateral and then ends up in a support zone, is a common thing. The role of Marc Cucurella also always varied. Sometimes he covered the entire edge and sometimes he started as a left central defender in a tree. The number of formations used went off scale. You can count 13 offhand. This is the amount Opta recorded last season. But still, many of those are very similar and can be interpreted as one. 4 were more or less constant, which is also a lot. The most important thing is that Potter is able to train players to work in different formations and change them in the course of matches depending on the opponent without losing quality. In football, the most important thing is balance. I try to evaluate my team and the opponent, wondering if everything is logical in my plan. We need to make sure that the team is organized, but at the same time, give the players a certain freedom. Potter formulates this key principle of preparation. Brighton have been one of the most interesting Premier League teams. Potter's abilities and phenomenal selection are the key factors. Fun fact, look at the Seagulls lineup for the match against Leicester. The club paid just under £81 million for all these players in total. Last summer, Brighton sold only Marc Cucurella for £60 million. By the way, Potter will reunite with Cucurella at Chelsea only a month after they parted ways at Brighton. And yeah, Leicester were beaten 5-2 in that match. Chelsea fans can look forward to a new chapter in the club's history. Graham Potter will bring new ideas, and now he'll have world-class performance to implement them. At Brighton, they finished the second to last season 16th with 41 points, while expected points would have placed them in 5th place with 61 points. And this was lost because of the performance class. Concerns about the manager's success are typical. He's never coached a top club, and experts doubt that Graham will be able to cope with the London's star player's ego. And a lot will depend on the club owners, whether they give the Englishman time to build the football he wants. It won't take a week or two, but Chelsea's DNA already has impatience built in. So let's follow the situation with interest and believe that at the end of this adventure, Potter will be able to say,
Mr. Managed.
Guys, tell us what you think.
Mr. Potter
Can achieve at Chelsea in the comments below. See you soon.